We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
What did he say?
We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
That's fucking illegal.
We're going to give immunity to police so they can do their job. I'm giving federal immunity to police officers so they can do their job.
Hold on. You're not talking about these guys, are you?
Recently released dash cam footage shows the moment when an officer shoots an unarmed man. On September 14th, 2022, shortly after 1 a.m., Rusk County Sergeant Shane Iverson pulled over 29-year-old Timothy Michael Randall for a traffic violation. Sergeant Iverson told Randall he had pulled him over because he saw him run the stop sign at a nearby four-way stop, which Randall denied. He told Randall to get out of the vehicle, which he did. However, Randall appears to struggle with the sergeant when he attempts to handcuff him, asking, quote, "Officer, please, can you tell me what am I being arrested for?" unquote. Sergeant Iverson then attempts to take Randall to the ground multiple times. Eventually, they both fall to the ground. Randall then gets up and tries to run away when Sergeant Iverson pulls his service weapon and shoots once at Randall. The bullet entered under his arm and exited through his chest cavity, destroying his heart. Randall ran about 20 paces after he was shot and then collapsed to the ground, where he died. Officials claim that during the pat-down Randall, quote, attempted to conceal contraband in his waistband and made furtive movements to his waistband, unquote. The attorney for Rusk County said that Sergeant Iverson believed Randall was attempting to hide a small gun down the front of his pants, but later found it to be a pipe in an eyeglasses case. Randall's family filed a civil lawsuit claiming excessive force was used, and that the arrest and subsequent death were wrongful. Sergeant Iverson was no-billed by a grand jury in November 2022, meaning a jury decided there was not enough evidence to indict the sergeant on criminal charges related to the shooting.
Right now, there are rapidly growing calls for the firing of a police officer in Indianola, Mississippi, after he allegedly shot an unarmed 11-year-old boy on Saturday. Adarian Murray, who is black, had called 911 to report a domestic disturbance. His family's attorney says he was trying to protect his mother. The Washington Post reports that Murray followed the police officer's commands and had his hands up, but was still shot in the chest. Officials in Indianola have voted to place the police officer on paid administrative leave while the case is investigated by the state. NBC's Steve Patterson is following this for us. Also with me is retired NYPD Detective Mark Claxton. So, Steve, what more do we know about how this young boy is doing and where this investigation stands?
Yeah, Chris, according to the family, after Adarian rounded that corner, met the police officer, he was shot one time in the chest, where he collapsed to the ground. Apparently, after being shot, he was screaming, "What did I do wrong? Why was I shot?" According to medical officials, he suffered a collapsed lung, a lacerated liver, several broken ribs, was rushed to the hospital where he was then put on a ventilator. But the silver lining in all of this, in this terrible story, is that he apparently has been soldiering through treatments at the hospital and just a day ago was treated at the hospital and released back to the custody of his family. He's doing okay. The mother spoke about what kind of blessing this was that her family got through this. Listen to this.
He's blessed. I don't know how else to describe it, how he survived. That's the only thing I can say, that he was blessed. He have a lot of questions. He asked me in the hospital, like, why they shot him. He was in good spirit, but every now and then I look over at him and he'll just cry.
He has a lot of questions. The family has a lot of questions, including the family attorney. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation says they have a full-throated investigation with that officer on administrative leave. And the family attorney saying that there is not only police body cam video, but also unreleased gas station security cam video that has not been shown to the public yet. Chris.
Cop fatally shoots an unarmed black man trapped in a car. I'm going to show you the video and give you the background. Here it is.
Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Get your hands up! Hey, clear, clear! Get your hands up! Get your hands up! .315, shots fired.
Put up the picture for a mask. They killed him. That officer in Cobb County, Georgia, killed an unarmed black male inside of the vehicle. Now, you may not have been able to make out the details, but he was literally pinned inside of his car with the airbag fully inflated. The attorneys for the family of 28-year-old Devontae Brown, who's on the left, a black motorist fatally shot by Cobb County, Georgia officer Ian McConnell, released the body cam footage of the incident that occurred 2 years ago. We finally have the footage. The footage shows the moment Brown was fatally shot multiple times in August 2021 after he was pulled over for driving erratically in Marietta. In the video, Brown's damaged vehicle is surrounded by police patrol cars at the scene, and it appears that his airbags were deployed. Get your hands up, McConnell repeated. Get your effing hands up. Brown is still inside of the car at this time. Moments later, Brown pressed on the gas and the cop shot into the vehicle 12 times. Civil rights attorney Harry Daniels argued in a statement on Thursday that the officer was not under immediate threat when the officer opened fire. Why is that statement important from Attorney Daniels? That statement is important because in order for a cop to kill you, you have to pose immediate, imminent threat against the officer or someone else readily visible to that officer. Neither applied here at all, not even close. There's more. The officer then reported that shots were fired, requested first responders to the scene. About midway through the video, law enforcement officials approached Brown's car. The GBI previously said he was transferred to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Devontae obviously got himself in a situation where he was being chased by police, Daniels told WSB-TV. Absolutely deadly force was not warranted in this case. I mean, he was trapped. He couldn't get away. He was blocked in. There's no getting away and using deadly force in that situation. It was completely uncalled for, and in my opinion, it was unlawful, end quote, from Harry Daniels. The Cobb County Police Department responded to the video and released a statement saying that the officer was not charged. Quote, first and foremost, our thoughts are with everyone affected by this tragic event, including the family of Devontae Brown and all involved officers. The statement said, per the outlet, the loss of life is always a somber matter, and we approach this situation with the utmost seriousness and sensitivity. It continued, following the incident, an independent investigation was requested by Cobb Police and conducted by the GBI. The findings of this investigation were turned over to the Cobb County DA's office, and the case was heard by the grand jury. The grand jury concluded that there were no grounds for charges against the officer involved. Now, I can't tell you what was said to the grand jury or how the case was presented, because grand juries are top secret. I can also tell you that typically, we have seen this in Georgia justice, those grand jury proceedings, because of their secret nature, many times those prosecutors will wink and nod to let the grand jury know exactly how he or she would like the grand jury to decide. Regardless of what the grand jury has said, clearly the two elements that are required based on precedent were not present in this situation. The cop was not in imminent danger, nor was someone directly visible to the officer. All right, Sharon, thoughts here?
Yeah, I remember covering Ferguson and being on the front lines there, and Officer Darren Wilson. Remember they had him up on a grand jury. And I remember the career prosecutor, it was really Michael Brown, who was on trial. It was, because he some marijuana, something like that, and a little strong arm, something at a convenience store. This is a game, and despite what our eyes see, Dr. Ritchie, we're supposed to believe this twisted pretzel of an explanation. And the other thing that offended me greatly, this man is dead. I've had an airbag go off, and I don't know if I even know which way I'm moving. My face got messed up and everything. For them to put out a statement about this tragic incident and how seriously they take it and all those affected and name the officers, you can go on and leave that out of my loved one's statement. That shows you how much they care or don't.
Yeah. And listen, you make a great point. When you're in a situation like that, airbag has been deployed, right? We don't know if he had what we call lead foot, where basically he's in an accident and his foot just dropped down, kind of locked into the gas pedal. You know why we don't know? Because he's dead. There's no explanation. Here's what we do know. We do know that he was not creating a threat for the officer. And we do know that no one was in front of him for a threat to be noticed by the officer. We know that as a fact. All right, we will update as the story develops.
These are police officers who killed unarmed citizens and what prison they are currently at. Number 1, Derek Chauvin. He is the cop who killed George Floyd on May 25, 2020. And he is currently serving a 21-year sentence at FCI Tucson in Tucson, Arizona. And his release date is April 7th, 2038. Number 2, Michael Slager. He is the cop who killed Walter Scott on April 4th, 2015 in North Charleston, South Carolina. And he is currently serving a 20-year sentence at FCI Inglewood in Colorado. And his release date is August 16th, 2032. Number 3, Thomas Lane. He is also another cop that was involved in the death of George Floyd. And he was also serving a 3-year sentence at FCI Inglewood in Colorado, but he was just released from prison yesterday. Number 4, Aaron Dean. He is the cop who killed Tatiana Jefferson on October 12, 2019 in Fort Worth, Texas. And he is currently serving an 11-year, 10-month sentence at the W.F. Ramsey unit in Rosharon, Texas. And his release date is October 25, 2034. Number 5, Numan Raja. He is the cop who killed 31-year-old Corey Jones in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida on October 18, 2015, while Corey was waiting on a tow truck to pick up his disabled car. And as for Numan, he is currently serving a 25-year sentence at the Everglades Correctional Institute in Florida. And his release date is February 27, 2000.
This is the moment investigators say a Florida cop mistook a falling acorn for gunshots and opened fire at an unarmed suspect. Deputy Jesse Hernandez said he thought he heard gunshots, so he began to shoot at the handcuffed suspect in the vehicle. Fearing the worst, another cop at the scene also began to shoot. But an investigation later determined that the sound Hernandez heard was likely an acorn hitting the roof of the car. Hernandez resigned less than a month after the incident, while the other officer remained on the job. Neither officer had criminal charges filed against them. Miraculously, the handcuffed suspect in the car was not hit by any bullets.
And you want to convince me that those guys need immunity, federal immunity, so they can, quote, do their jobs? Y'all think we stupid. Y'all really think we stupid. People fall for this trap of falling in love with the person and never the policy. Stop following people just because they can talk good. See what they actually do and represent. What else do you need to hear? What else do you need to hear? Because you know what I hear? Dictatorship. Keep your ears and your eyes on the swivel. I keep telling y'all, it's more than just this election. They gearing up for their next phase. Prepare.